everyone's attention. My name is Dave McMaster. I'm going to kind of run the meeting, the program to start with. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I am a special deputy with the Sheriff's Department. I've been the public information officer since Thursday evening, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, when we start putting everything together. Format tonight, we're going to start. Then I'm going to have the sheriff and the emergency manager kind of go through where everything was starting on Thursday night, kind of up to now, and what the plan is for the next week or two. Following for that, I'm going to introduce all the different individuals that are on the outside here, who are, some of them are government departments, agencies, some of them are nonprofits. But we're going to go through the list and kind of tell you different resources that we have available. I will tell you, you'll hear this number over and over, 989-743-2635. That's if you need assistance or you want to donate money or water or clothing or whatever. If you want to volunteer, 989-743-2631. Those aren't monitored, or they're not live 24 hours a day. So in the evening, the voicemail kicks on. But those are our numbers that we have set up to coordinate volunteers, to help those that need assistance, and to take in contributions and everything. So with that, I have a long list. First, I want to thank individuals, groups, people that have been involved since Thursday night. Obviously, the Shiawassee County Sheriff's Office, which includes Central Dispatch, Emergency Management, Homeland Security, and Animal Control, Michigan State Police, Community Emergency Response Team, Salvation Army, Red Cross, the Shiawassee County Health Department, Verizon, Ingham County Emergency Management, Osceola County Emergency Management, Clinton County Emergency Management, Consumers Energy, and all their contractors, the Cajun Navy from Louisiana, State Senator Tom Barrett, State Representative Ben Frederick, who is here. Ben's been active with us, been out visiting a lot of the houses that were struck. County Commissioners, I'm not sure if any of them are here, but in particular, Commissioner Root and Commissioner Marks, whose area was hit. They've been heavily involved the last couple days. A lot of local government officials, but I want to point out we have Bert Clerk, Vernon Township Supervisor, who has been hands-on, and we have a lot of individuals. We have the chief from Shiawassee and the chief from Vernon Township, the deputy chief. We've kind of taken over Vernon Township Hall as our command center. Thank you for being our host and opening up your doors to us. So most all fire departments and police departments, agencies in the county responded Thursday evening, including some from Genesee. Media newspaper, for the media folks here, thank you very much for helping us get out our message. In particular, Josh Strickland with Durand Now and Tom Mankey with his 2 Facebook pages. A lot of our information, probably some of you, how many of you have received information via Facebook? Okay. So we've been on TV, we've been pushing using a lot of different medias, but a lot of it's been social media. Christy Johnson from the Johnson Insurance Agency out of Durand, the Shiawassee, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, the Shiawassee Health and Wellness Department, our county clerk, Caroline Wilson's here to talk about vital records, Shiawassee Veteran Services, the Shiawassee Road Commission, the Drain Commission, Dreamy Tree Service, Colin Rose at Daysar, the National Weather Service. We've had individuals here from Delhi Township Fire Department, Emergency Management, Shiawassee Home Builders Association, Rubicon, Catholic Charities, Fishes and Loaves out of Vernon, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, Shiawassee County on Agency, which is hosting our volunteer center here in Durand Public Schools for opening their doors today. Big help to RESD, Dave Schulte, who's been very helpful coordinating stuff today, making this possible, but working with schools. And we've heavily relied on Jackie Karstens and Kevin Tomlinson for our IT needs out of the RESD. So I'm sure I forgot people. A lot of the community has come together. So with that, we're going to move on. Sheriff Pagol is going to make some remarks, and then we're going to transition into Trent Atkins, who is our Emergency Service Manager. If you have questions, if you could wait to the very end, and then you can come up individually to talk to us. We have maps, you guys have some information. But just to keep things going, if you could hold questions to the end, we're all going to be here for a while. And when they get done, I'm going to go through the services that are available. If you need something, you can walk around. Most importantly, on the right-hand side, if you want to volunteer, you can sign up. If you have needs or assistance, maybe you don't even know what it is, but you can sign up there, and we'll get you taken care of. So with that, Sheriff Brian Begol.
Thank you. Good evening. If you're not able to hear me, just raise your hand. I'll try to speak up a little bit. The microphone system wasn't working. So I want to thank you for coming here tonight. We got a good response. I know we're not able to reach everyone, especially with some of the powers out. Not everybody follows the Facebook sites, but we did the best job we could as far as hitting door to door and trying to make contact with you. I recognize a lot of you as victims here tonight, and that's the main thing. What we want to do is get you here and let you know, we care about what's going on. The last thing we want is for you to be standing around looking at your house or in your yard and not knowing what to do. So I want you to know that all of these, your elected officials, your township officials, city officials, we've all come together. I can't tell you how proud I am. I've never seen, in my 29-year career, I've never seen such cooperation, collaboration between police, fire, EMS, and all the elected officials to take care of this. So really, it's working as it should. So let's start with Thursday night and talk a little bit about what happened in case you haven't heard. What we now know, at about 6:45, 2 tornadoes hit Shiawassee County. The first one touching down in Bennington Township was rated at EF0, okay? That's winds around 80 miles an hour. There was a second one, which was an EF2. That was around 125 miles an hour. Now those speeds fluctuated on each of them as they moved across the county, but they did about 8 miles of destruction total. And obviously we have tons of damage. And we have families that are displaced. There was 60 houses roughly. That numbers went up and down a little bit as more information comes in. We decipher it. That's not uncommon during situations like this. But about 60 to 65 houses have been damaged. We anticipate there may be more in outlying areas, but we're going to adjust the numbers as it goes. 18 of those homes are uninhabitable or destroyed completely. So I can't imagine the feeling of those people right now. And sadly, not everybody was insured. And that's why we've declared a state of emergency for Shiawassee County, and we're reaching out to the state of Michigan, hoping that they'll recognize this as the emergency we do in order to try to get people the help that they desperately need. In addition to the homes that were destroyed and damaged, we had 16 barns destroyed. Some of them were historical landmarks, as far as I'm concerned. There was businesses destroyed, millions of dollars out of one business, and the other one was a large farming operation that had extensive damage as well. The total cost of devastation has not been determined, so that's what's going to be happening for the next several weeks or even longer. These things take time to get a proper accounting for. When this thing struck, we had 6,100 people that were out of power. That caused a lot of problems in this weather, didn't it? But we got emergency personnel to the areas as fast and as quickly as we could. They began relaying information backwards, and what we decided was to establish an emergency command center in the the Vernon Township Fire Department, which is in basically downtown Vernon. So we've been working out of there pretty much nonstop since the tornado struck. And again, you heard the long list of people that was read off. So many things are going on behind the scenes, collecting information, planning ahead to try to make sure that we have the proper information and that you guys have the proper resources that you need. There are many, many resources available, and we are happy to provide those to you. We just got to get the information out to everybody, and we're going to ask for your help doing that as well. On a damage level, 61% of the damage occurred within Shiawassee Township. 29.5% occurred in Vernon Township, and the remaining 9% occurred in Venice Township, where the tornadoes died out and then left. To give you a little better understanding what we were doing behind the scenes on Thursday when this tornado hit and the emergency personnel responded to those areas, it was basically a search and rescue operation. We had houses that were devastated. We didn't know if we were going to have casualties at the time, but that's what we did. We were there to check the houses, make sure that we didn't have anybody trapped or pinned or needing, immediate attention. And that went on for hours as we deciphered, more information came in. It was dark. We were driving around and looking. We performed what's called a grid search. So we broke the police, the fire into groups, and we sent them out in there. We did basically grid searches of the areas you lived in, checking for the most damaged houses, and then making contact at those houses to make sure that everyone was not, like I said, pinned or hurt or requiring immediate attention. What we found is we had no casualties, and I'll say very little, if any injuries. There was a couple people that obtained some scratches, so I really think we're very blessed in that aspect, that somebody wasn't killed in this. So we did have people that had down power lines on their house. Some of them were on oxygen and needed to get out of there quickly. So the fire and EMS, along with Consumers Powers, worked together to rescue those people and take them to the hospital and make sure that that their needs were met. Now on Friday, we began damage assessment. We needed to know how much damage was out there in the community. We didn't know how big the area was. So again, in the daylight, we started, got some feet on the ground, started in the morning, checking the roads. Michigan State Police was there with their helicopter to assist in flying the area, and it was much easier to determine just where those tornadoes could started and stopped. You could actually see it all the way through. Very difficult on the ground, but when you got the aerial views, we could see it clearly, the areas that were most impacted. On Saturday, the damage assessment continued as we also worked through to establish resources for you, put them in place, making rounds to make sure that people were aware of that. I should have mentioned that there was immediately a shelter set up on Thursday night at the Corona Community Center. There were some people that inquired about it. It wasn't utilized, but it was there for the people who needed it. We had one person walk into the operations center who was cold. He was without power. They chose to stay at their houses, as many people do, not knowing when the power is going to come on, hoping it's going to come on. But we were able to provide him a little comfort in that aspect. So, as things moved forward into the evening yesterday, we started to turn to more of a recovery process and a cleanup. We've had nonprofit organizations come in large numbers. They're coming to town still. People are starting volunteering. We're setting up the avenues in order to get those people out in the community to help with cutting up the debris and the cleanup. So that's what you're going to see over the next several weeks, and especially probably this week, is more of a recovery and cleanup of the area. There's many donated items coming in right now. In fact, I was proud to just stop by the VFW here in Durand, and I couldn't fit any more food items in the back of my truck because the Boy Scouts had an event and they donated everything there. It was just incredible. And there's a shoebox full of gift cards for places to eat and things that can be handed out to some of the families that don't have a house or maybe don't have electricity still. Most of the power has been restored, but we know you could be one of them here tonight that isn't. There's individual hookups and damage that has to be done, and we're hopeful that those will continue and try to get everybody back online because at this point in time, in this weather. That's one of our main concerns, to make sure that your food, your shelter, and your water needs are met. So we do have those resources available. And that's what today is about. Talk about what happened, find out what you need. The emergency manager here, Trent Atkins, I'm gonna give him a plug because this is how I feel, and you guys should be proud of him. I think he's probably one of the best emergency managers in the state of Michigan. He comes to Shiawassee County. He's a resident here. His kids go to school here. He loves this community, and that's why he's here, because he could probably go anywhere he wanted to go. But he's here with us, and it's experience like him that you know, helps put this all together. The police, fire, and EMS always work, but he's kind of been the one, not the authority to do it so much as the ability to get those groups together. That's what he did, and that's why it worked so good here in the last couple of days. So again, providing these sources, that's why these volunteers have come in, many of them on their days off, you can see, and they're going to offer services to you. And I'm quite surprised as I go around even what they do. So please don't look at a sign and just assume that maybe they can't help you, because they offer even more than I thought. So it's hopefully something that's going to be valuable to you. Now, if you don't see something you need here, reach out to us. If we don't have it here, we can find somebody to try to get you an answer. All right? That's all about networking, and that's all about emergency management, because really it's networking, it's logistics, it's getting emergency equipment, supplies in the event of emergency. And you know, we could say it's not going to happen here in Shiawassee County, and it did, didn't it? But thank God it wasn't worse. And it could be something else, you know, next week or something like that. So we got to be ready for those things today. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Emergency Manager Trent Atkins. He's going to explain this process a little bit more in detail about the emergency management system, the emergency command system that was set up, and what we're doing on the outlining tables here. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff, for the kind words. Listen, I don't want to distract from what you guys have gone through, but I want to take a minute and I want to recognize, first of all, the first responders that are in this room, not only the chief officers that are here, but those that are in the back, police, fire, and EMS. These folks, when the watch and the warning went out on Thursday night, they left their fire stations and their comfortable buildings, and they went and set point to help to watch for a tornado or some kind of damage. A couple of the fire trucks that were going to set point inadvertently drove into the tornado, and they were entrapped for about 4 hours with power lines over the top of the trucks until we could get them de-energized. I apologize, I'm a little tired. It's been a long few days as well, so if I stutter a little bit, just nudge me, you know. But listen, these folks, Thursday night, they were out there until about 4 a.m. We said, go home and get some sleep. And at 8 o'clock the next morning, most of those guys were back volunteering so that we could get damage assessment. These folks care about your community, about their community. I tell you what, it's I don't know if it's just because I'm tired, but it makes me feel very emotional to know that this community has come together so closely. These folks along the table over here, these are all volunteers. They're not firefighters or police officers. We have a few more in the room. These are your neighbors and friends and family. They came out this morning and they said, we want to volunteer. They showed up to our volunteer reception center. We got them all set and we've been assigning them out. This morning at noon, I can't tell you since noon, but at noon, we had 50 of your neighbors and friends show up to volunteer. And we were able to put 30 of them to work right away. We had Mike Drimby of Drimby Tree Service. You know that Mike normally charges to come up and clean up debris. Mike says, look, I got a truck, I got a chipper, I got chainsaws. I'm not going to charge you. You tell me where to go to work. We had people show up with tractors and other heavy equipment and said, look, we're not here to make any money. You tell us where to go to work. And so we've been sending them out. And we've been taking folks like these volunteers over here and sending them out to assist and drag debris. It's going to take us a while to clean it up, though. If you've not seen them in your neighborhood, you will. All right. Today we knew it was going to be a bit of a soft start to getting the debris cleaned up. But tomorrow we have a number of nonprofit organizations that are coming in. One of them that's been here with us since Friday, Team Rubicon. They've been phenomenal. We had the Cajun Navy show up, which some of you may have heard. They kind of got their notoriety during some of the hurricanes down south, and they've been here as well, and they're going to continue to be here. So I tell you what, we're really truly blessed. You know, as the sheriff said, we had nearly 20 buildings that were destroyed, uninhabitable, and we had no significant injuries, and we're just so blessed here by that. So very thankful. So I just wanted to, real quickly, before I kind of move forward with some of the other things that we're doing, the sheriff had mentioned the tornadoes that came through. The National Weather Service was on the ground Friday. They were able to track the tornado damage. We were also up in the state police helicopter. We'll have some pictures and videos and things like that coming. I was in the helicopter. It was very moving to see that from the air. We could see where it started over near Tyrell Road, around Shoreline, with the damaged trailers that were there, and you either saw the trees down, the debris field, or we saw straight lines that were where the tornado dragged through the dirt and headed towards your homes. It was overwhelming to see, and we're going to have some of that footage. We're going to have some of those pictures that we're going to be able to share with the media and social media, so you can see some of the things that we saw. It was absolutely amazing. But the National Weather Service confirmed that we did have 2 different tornadoes. The lesser of the 2 ran just a little bit north of the main tornado, EF0. The main one, again, started around Tyrell Road and ran all the way to the village of Lennon. You may have heard that we had 4 tornadoes. There was a bit of a miscommunication on Friday afternoon into Saturday. Actually, 2 of them were in Genesee County. So they had some minor damage in Genesee County, a couple of buildings and things like that. But this was the track of our tornado. You can see better over here. This is the one that ran to the north from 52 and Grand River. It ran 2 to 3 miles. This one here, this was the EF2. You can see where it started. They're actually saying over in Perry, but that's where they saw the rotation. The actual damage we saw started around Tyrell, and then of course went up to the village of Lennon. Some of you may say, well, you know what, I kind of live outside of that area and I had some cosmetic damage on my home, or maybe a little bit more. We can see up to a mile on both sides damage. In fact, over here in Durand at the trailer park, the 2 that are over there, Holiday Shores, we could see some damage in the trees. One of the trailers was damaged and the fence was blown down, where it was over a mile away from the tornado line. So that's not impossible to be that way. So kind of where we're at right now, the sheriff mentioned that we've done the damage assessment. We declared a local state of emergency. Shiawassee County is in a local state of emergency. Commissioner Root signed that. We sent that to the governor's office to let them know that we felt that the damage and the impact to our community was greater than what we could do without additional resources. We also sent a petition to the governor requesting certain resources, including some debris management equipment. Since this time, we've been able to find quite a bit of that of our own. Obviously, we have people that are donating and offering their equipment. But we've also asked them to consider, based on what our assessment is, to consider some individual relief. So that whatever that might look like. What's going to be really important today, after we kind of break and send you out to talk to some of these resources, this table over here, we have 8 people. Raise your hand over here. All right. These volunteers are ready to take your information, okay? We want to know who you are, where you live, what kind of impacts you had, and then also what kind of assistance you need. Now, we're not here, I can't promise you any assistance right now. But I can tell you, when you look around at all these people sitting at the table and the long list that was mentioned here, we are doing everything we can. I'm calling in every favor I can. I have an emergency manager that came in from Otsego County to help us today, just to kind of make sure that we were moving along. We had more bodies. We're trying to make sure every opportunity that we can provide to you is going to be there. Whether they tell us no or not, I don't know, but we're trying and we're getting them here. We have a great community, and these folks here behind you are ready to help. So as the days go forward, so like I said, today is kind of a soft start to the debris management. Tomorrow we're going to be hitting it hard, and you're going to see that until we got the debris cleaned up. Starting tomorrow, you'll see the Road Commission as well as the City of Owasso. They're going to have dump trucks out there as well as heavy equipment, loading debris, and they're going to be taking it to a location where it's going to be chipped up, you know, a little bit finer. As the weeks go on, you know, even though the debris is cleaned up, you're still going to need some assistance. Many of you will still be rebuilding. You're going to be dealing with your insurance companies, and you may have questions. There may be questions. We're going to make sure that there is a phone number, email, contacts, whatever resources we need to give you to be able to reach out to my office so that we can make sure your needs are being met. And again, I can't promise anything, but you know what? We're going to work awfully hard for you. The other thing I wanted to just recognize here is Representative Frederick. All right, I'm not much of a politician, but Representative Frederick was here Friday morning, and he has been here almost continuously since then. And I've reached out to him a couple times. He's helped us to get the volunteers. He's helped us to get some of the resources, and he's been reaching out to the governor's office and trying to, again, help the governor's office to understand the impact to our community. The folks sitting at the table back here, this is Michigan State Police Emergency Management. They're here to answer any questions you have. They have been phenomenal. You have to understand that they are kind of the middleman like I am, right? I provide the information up to them, they collect it, and then they, on the behalf of our community, petition the governor for the same stuff. So these folks are working hard. The one person I want to point out, just so you know, Lieutenant Jeff Yonker. Jeff, raise your hand, all right? Jeff has been here since Friday or Thursday night when the storm hit. I called him and I said, Jeff, we've got a huge disaster here. He said, Trent, I'm going to be there. Jeff is the liaison to the Michigan State Police Emergency Management. Jeff is working on our behalf, helping me to make sure that we have these opportunities and resources available. So, Jeff, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. I think that I've kind of explained the process. I'm going to be available if you have any questions. But Dan's going to go through and just kind of identify some of the resources. But please, if you go to nobody else today, go over to those 8 people right there and give us the information, because that's going to help us to petition the governor. It's also going to help us to make sure we have the resources you need to be able to help recover. All right? Thank you very much, and God bless all of you. It's a struggle, and I've been out there with you, you know, looking at things, and it's hard.
Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, once again, I want to thank Representative Frederick. We can't compliment him enough. Part of putting this on today, part of working to get the emergency declared, having the channel, communication with the governor, He's been very instrumental. Senator Tom Barrett has. Our commissioners that, like I said, worked really hard on it the last couple of days. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here right now. But also the Shiawassee Vernon Township Fire Department. I mean, you can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done. We've been in your house now for 4 days, 3 days. So with that, there are a couple of announcements I forgot. If there's an emergency, I hope not, we've had enough. Everyone needs to leave out that door. If you have to go use the restroom facilities, when we break here shortly, it's behind the stage. You can go down the hallway. So I'm going to kind of go around the room. I'm going to start with Director Phil Hevelin. We have the Shiawassee Health and Wellness. They offer a lot of services. I see a lot of stress for you guys, whether you've been hit or your neighbor's been hit. Maybe you need some counseling, maybe you need some stress reducing. There's other services they offer, so they're here. Mr. Atkins explained MSP, Emergency Management, so they're here. Next we have Michigan, or the Shiawassee County, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. They have paper applications. They can help with some emergency assistance. Everybody here, there's different forms of emergency assistance, and it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, and I wish I kind of knew where I could say, okay, you go to this person, and I can't, and I don't know if anybody here can, so you might have to go around. However, I'm sorry, I just saw her, Commissioner Marlene Webster, who's in the back. She is the key to the jigsaw puzzle, and she can probably help out too. She's going to be helping us out a lot with our long-term housing. Maybe some of you who need a place several weeks from now or several months from now. Her community resources, her group, Shiawassee Hope, they're going to play a part in that. And I apologize, I didn't see you sitting back there. I believe is she the only commissioner that's here? I believe she's the only one. So thank you, Marlene, for coming. So Health and Human Services, you can go see them. You may qualify, you may not. I don't know, but they offer services. Next, Chrissy Johnson's here. She owns an insurance agency in Durand. She's not here to sell you insurance. She's not here to do your claim unless you do have a policy through her. She's here to explain to you the process. If you haven't talked to your agent yet, if you don't understand the process of the adjuster coming out, the claims process, what your rights are as a policy holder, or maybe you have an insurance through an insurance agency or an insurance company that's not exactly being honest with you. She's here. She's a local insurance agent recommended by Representative Fredericks. She can answer any of your insurance questions. Next, we have the Home Builder, Shiawassee Home Builders Association. We have a list that's printed out of, and I gotta be careful how I word this, they are members of the local Home Builders Association. They are all credible contractors, general contractors, or excavating. If you need shingling, if you need whatever you need, those two individuals, can you raise your hands? Those two individuals back there can help you out. If you don't see what's on the list, they can probably help put you in the right direction. We're not endorsing, we're not advertising for those individuals on the list, but we want to prevent you from some fly-by-the-night shingling truck that's going to pull up and say, well, I'll re-shingle your roof, give me a deposit, and then you never see from them again. So they're all local contractors, subcontractors. Next, we have the American Red Cross. Offers many different services, including emergency cleanup supplies. We've been with them hand in hand since Thursday evening. They've been heavily involved. Next, we have Sue Osika from Habitat for Humanity. She's got coupons to the Restore. They can offer assistance, volunteers coming out to do minor repair work. Maybe you need some tools and supplies and such. So see her. She's also the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Owasso. So there's a lot of people here that are playing multiple roles. We're a very tight community, and some people are here because they work for a nonprofit. Some are elected officials, some do both. So next we have County Clerk Caroline Wilson. First sign just says vital records. I thought of this kind of at the last minute, late yesterday when we were trying to pull this all together in under 24 hours. It occurred to me maybe you lost your purse, you lost your wallet, you can't find it because your house is gone or it's buried in the basement, or you know, your roof has a hole in it and water's come in, and maybe you've lost birth certificates, you've lost marriage licenses, or whatever you need, go see Caroline. She can tell you this is what you need to do to come to my office on Monday to get new copies of your vital records. She can also tell you, she doesn't work for Secretary of State, but she knows enough to tell you, okay, if you need to go to your new driver's license, these are the documents you're going to need, and you're going to have to get them from my office to go to the Secretary of State office. So thank you, Caroline, for being here. Next, in the corner, we have kind of consumer safety, sheriff's office, animal control. Sergeant Chapman's back there, Officer Steckschulte, our department chaplain's there. That's kind of a multitude back there. Fraud, if you've already experienced some fraud, or you want some tips, or you're worried about security at your house because you can't lock the front door because there is no front door, or you have no windows anymore. Officer Steckschulte, he's already kind of surveyed the area, get an idea of pet animals and livestock. We don't know everything, so if you have needs, whether it's dog food or cat food, or you can't have your house or your livestock for a couple days or weeks or whatever, he's our coordinator. He can take care of that. You need supplies, you know, whatever. He's the person to see. Next, we have the health department. We have Casey Elliott and several individuals from there. He can talk to you about a lot of issues. You've all been out of power for several days. Our big concern right now for safety is food safety. I mean, our two big concerns are food safety and all this wood debris that needs to be cleaned up. But he's got information. If you've got your basement's been flooded, you're worried, maybe you have sewage backup issues or whatever, they have handouts on how to clean your basement, what's good in your refrigerator or not. He can also talk to you long-term if you have to rebuild, because that department covers septic systems, well drilling, all that kind of stuff. He can talk about how does this work, do you cap your well, do you have to drill a new well, if you have to build a new house, etc. And then we get into the help desk and the volunteer donations. One individual, Salvation Army, where are you at? Okay. Another individual, he doesn't have a booth, but if you need help, when you talk to him, they've been very helpful, doing a lot of stuff, including a food canteen that showed up to help first responders kind of get through the weekend and everything. So thank you for your agency's efforts. So with that, if you guys have questions, like I said, you can come up. Anybody that's up here has been around enough the last 72, 96 hours, knows a lot of the information. Or you can go out and start talking to the individual desks. Media, if you want to do interviews, just get with me. If you want to talk to the sheriff, emergency manager, state representative, or whoever, we can set up some interviews in a corner or whatever. I'm sorry that maybe we don't have exactly what everybody needs and what everybody's looking for. But like I said, it's Sunday afternoon, and we started this sometime yesterday, trying to pull this together to get all these people here, to get the word out to you guys, deliver flyers, do the social media. So I appreciate you all coming. And with that, good luck with everybody. And like I said, if you have a question, come up and talk to us, any of us, and then make your way around the tables.